All right. Hi. Let me see something here. I'm echoing. All right. Hi. Welcome to the live. It's Jessica Hicks, corporate recruiter, and I am doing a little bit of a different live chat today. Hopefully, this will make for a great playback, but I wanted to provide some resume reviews in a different format where I'm directly looking at a resume and walking through how I would look at and review a resume as a corporate recruiter. So, I will start things off by saying I am going to be hiding information on each resume. So, at the top of the page where you see the name, I'll be going in and out as I share just to make sure that name is cut off. These are samples that I pulled from Reddit where people will go into our resume and say, hey, review my resume. So, just because they're sharing a Reddit, they're not sharing on LinkedIn, I'm going to try my best to hide their information. So I'm going to jump in here, but I do want to talk about some of the tips that are basically some of the areas that I look for in a resume before I get started. And hey there, Barry, thanks for joining me. Enjoyed your live chat earlier. It was very different, very different than what I expected. But I learned a lot about bowling. So thank you for having your friend on. I did connect with him. So to run through a few tips, and I'm actually going to try to score. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay, Barry. But I will be scoring resumes because I bucketed a few areas of what I look for. So I look for a clean and concise resume, something that's pretty much straight to the point, easy to read in a good format, something that shows your relevant experience. So I talk about this a lot on my channel where I tell people to cater their resume to the specific job or industry they're looking to apply to. So I'll be looking at that as well to see if the experience is actually relevant to the industry or the job they're looking for. And then the other piece of this is contact information is actually kind of surprising that I still run into finding resumes as I'm reviewing resumes at work. You guys know I work at Nestle, and so I'll review resumes all the time. And some people have really nice resumes, and I'm like, oh, I would like to reach out to you, but then their contact information isn't there. So I will be checking for that. And along with that, education and relevant skills. And I point this out a lot. I don't know when I did this. I did do another live where I was talking about resumes, but something I always say is to make sure that you are highlighting your skills and making it really easy for a recruiter to review because people don't like to read in general and recruiters don't like to read generally either. We don't want to read a book for a resume. So I want to make sure that the skills are highlighted pretty easily where you can directly see them in a couple of seconds. And then the last thing is just the visual. So there are a lot of email templates out there, and a lot of them kind of look probably like this one that I'm going to look at right now. But nothing that really stands out about the resume. They look like all the other resume templates out there, pretty blah. So nothing super creative about them or nothing that pops, even just adding sprinkle of color or something. But the design just isn't there. It doesn't catch your eye. It doesn't really make you want to look at the resume. So I'm going to talk about that too, and that's kind of going to be act as my rating scale, and I will share the rating for each resume. So, hey, Shells, welcome in. Nice to see you. And Barry says, you can hear me. Perfect. And Barry, thank you so much for the support over this week. Power is back on, water is good, food, and well, it's hard to find food right now, but that's another that's another scenario. Stores, it's kind of similar to when the pandemic first started. People were rushing and getting that food. So let me see. Hey, thank you so much, Shells. Thank you, and you look beautiful as well. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to dig into this resume. Let me see if I can make this just a bit bigger. Actually, I'm going to hide myself and make it bigger so that you can see. That looks about right. So this person is in the accounting industry. So they're looking for an accountant type of job. And they're highlighting their relevant skills and accomplishments. The first thing I would say when I look at this resume is the visual for me isn't there. I think they could do a little bit of work to use all the space that's here. They have some space at the bottom of the page. So they should be sharing a little more information and taking up all this space. I don't care if you're in high school, college, like you should be sharing enough information to take up all of the page. And there shouldn't be too much just blank space on a resume. Now, the other part of this is just from a visual standpoint, it's nothing that pops and makes me want to really dig in this resume. It doesn't make me excited to look at, this person's resume at all. So that would be my other tip, is to just take a look at some other design templates that are out there. There's a lot of templates that are available that look a little better, still clean and polished, but you can plug and chug a lot of this information into. And then the headers here, relevant skills and accomplishments. They're saying accomplishments, but I don't really see accomplishments in here. So outside of this one, award-winning blogger for taxing issues, I don't even know what that is. So it would be good to share more information about that and probably bring that to the top if you're saying you're listing accomplishments in here. Now, certified public accountant, licensed in Illinois, that's great. This to actually share where you're licensed. I hope they're looking for jobs in Illinois. And then certified member of Institute for Professionals in Taxation. I don't know why. Something tells me that maybe this name is wrong. Like I don't know. Certified member of the Institute, and then they say parentheses Institute for Professionals in Taxation. Why didn't they just say that? And accredited tax advisor. I like that. Extensive experience preparing and filing federal and multi-state individual partnership trust corporation tax returns. Okay. And they're saying they're proficient in a lot of these different applications. They could just honestly say Microsoft Suite here, unless they're applying to jobs that call out some of these other items. They're looking for an accountant role. I would say Access would be important. Excel is definitely important. Not too sure about SQL so much, but depending on the role, like if it's maybe something tied to maybe a certain database that this person needs, and then XML. I don't know if they're really going to need that. Visio project, process mapping software. They may or may not need these skills. Just depends on the role. So I would say this is a great area to highlight skills that you see with each job description. And I see a question from you, Shells. I'm going to wrap up kind of talking through this resume, and then I'm going to address that question. Very good question. So I would just kind of clean this up. Like a recruiter's not going to go in here and really look at all of these points so much, how they're listed here. I think there needs to be a more concise way to share what the accomplishments were. Like they're saying self-motivated with the ability to meet deadlines. Okay. Strong organizational and interpersonal skills. I think there needs to be more there to actually show some proof of something that you've actually accomplished. So to my point, everyone's going to say they're self-motivated, they can meet deadlines, but you can show some proof here. That would be great if you're going to say accomplishment. Otherwise, you just need to list a bunch of skills and we are going to talk about it when we talk on the phone. Like you just need enough to draw me in and want me to talk to you. Now, employment history, I'm a bit surprised that we're listing your senior federal tax Deloitte, great company, tax processing associate, staff accountant, Grant Thornton. So a lot of good companies, but where is the information? What are you doing at these places? And I can take a guess, but you're missing out on an opportunity to share your skills. If you've actually had experiences like this should be the highlight of your resume. All of your space is showing this information that really tells me not too much. I don't really care about this. I want you to prove that you're self-motivated and you have organizational skills and interpersonal skills when I talk to you. I really don't need to know that here. I need to know, what are you doing as a, you know, tax senior professional? I don't really understand that title there. Or when you were an associate. So my main tip here is when you're sharing your employment history, you want to highlight your most recent experience here, which I don't even see the years of experience. That's something else I need to know. I don't know what you're doing, and I don't know what you did in your prior experiences. It would be totally okay if you didn't have as many bullet points under these other two, but we need to know something. And then the education at the bottom, I would bring that to the top, because we're saying, you know, you have all these, you have your certified public accountant, you could just loop in that with the education. So a big miss here, you know, they have this great experience, but they're not telling their story in the right way. And it's not even that they don't have the space for it. There's a big amount of space on the same page that they're not taking the best use of. So I am going to pause there and take a question from Shells. Let me see here. Let me bring myself back up. Okay, so question from Shells. And yes, Shells, I'm located in Texas. Yes, yes. Shell says, happy to hear that you are doing well during these tough times. Yes, I am fine. Are you also located in Texas, Shells? I'm going to look at your question here. So, what should all be on your cover of a resume? I never know what to put on my cover. So, you're referring to the cover letter? I don't normally look at cover letters. It really depends on the role. For government jobs, I would say yes, you definitely always need a cover letter. And then for more, I guess, management roles, I do look at cover letters. Or if I'm just trying to figure out some information that a resume doesn't tell me, like they're located in a different place or they got a really big gap of employment, I may go to the cover letter to figure out, okay, what's this person's story, if they do have a cover letter. Most companies are kind of getting away from you like having to include a cover letter, thank goodness, because I'm telling you, recruiters don't read them. Like 90% of the time, if they're not working in government or a specific industry, maybe academia or something, we're not reading that. We just want to get into the resume, see what you're doing, and look at it for a couple of seconds and decide whether or not we want to talk to you more. Now, with a cover letter, the information I would say you need to include is definitely, you know, you want to state your interest into the role. That's your chance to kind of tell your story in a quick highlight of like, what are the specific skills that you have that you're going to bring to this company, what you're excited about being able to enhance for that company. And then you're kind of wrapping it up with anything that you need to tell, like if you're moving from one state to another state, or if you had a gap of employment because you were dealing with family issues, but at the same time you were a freelancer for some company, whatever, that should be highlighted, that would add to your resume. That's your chance to tell in a cover letter. And then you kind of wrap it all up with, you know, why you're interested and why you're the best match, and you're looking forward to hearing from, you know, that employer. So that's really the basic of a cover letter, if that's what you're asking me. Let me see here. And Barry said he agreed with the before. Totally agree. Need to show proof. Yes. So that's what was missing in that other resume. There's just a bunch of information that's like not there. It's like, well, what are you doing here? Hey, Edward, and you are just on time. I just reviewed one resume and I have a couple more to review. Shells, you are in Texas. I'm so glad that you're okay. Thank you for letting me know that. Yes, it has been rough. Okay, Sheila is saying, is a summary objective statement important still? I see conflicting information. Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting. I think objectives or a summary, it's not really needed, you know, because now an objective statement, like just a quick statement about what you do, I would say yes, you can include that. Like I am a accounting, based off of that past resume, it was in accounting, but I am a CPA, or I'm a whatever accountant with skills in X, Y, and Z. If you're using it as an opportunity to kind of customize your resume to that specific job, that's great. But what I see a lot of the time with an objective statement is that, again, going back to customizing your resume, people miss changing their information and then they apply to a job. I actually had a hiring manager call out a candidate about this, and they're saying, I want to work as a business analyst at this type of company. And you apply to a job that's not a business analyst, or it's not that type of company. Like, they're wanting to work at a startup, and then they apply for a company that's not a startup. And hiring managers don't miss out on that kind of stuff. And a lot of times in different markets like this one, we're getting a lot of resumes. So it's not that we're trying to include everybody. We're looking for the best, and we want to make the best use of our time. So just be careful with the objective statements and the summaries. If you find that you're including very important, crucial information, you can include a quick statement or two in lieu of a cover letter, because again, recruiters, most recruiters do not look at cover letters unless they're, again, in government or certain industries. Let me know if that answers your question, Sheila. But I wouldn't spend too much time on your objective. I would spend time focusing on the bulk of your resume, which is going to be your experience and your skills, and showing that proof of what you can do and what you're going to bring to the company if you're selected. Hey, Zero, welcome in. Hey, Angel, welcome, welcome. King of Kills in here too, and Buddha. Nice to see you guys. Hey, okay, I'm gonna jump in here with the next resume, and feel free to let me know if you have other questions. So I'm gonna take this one away and bring up, I think this is the second one. Let me see. I numbered them and now I'm confusing myself. Hold up 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna look at this story first. So this one was on Reddit. Did I oversimplify my resume? Any tips you could suggest for improvement? Okay, I'm gonna show that first. Okay. So this is a snapshot I took from Reddit yesterday. This was one of the resumes I'm gonna look at, but they're basically asking if they've oversimplified their resume. They're basically using this template, and oops, let me take you away. Okay, they're using this template and they're wanting to understand if they oversimplified here. I don't know how to make that bigger, but they're basically saying they've been applying to IT positions without much luck. So I'm going to take a look at this one, bring that away, and actually share the resume they provided. I think this is it, and it is a photo, so I'm hoping it will still be, you'll still be able to read it. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Wait, is this the one? This isn't the one. It's the one I should be sharing. Okay, so let me bring it back to this one. If it actually does it this time, let's see. Okay, I got it right this time. All right, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom right down to the bottom because I see that they did not include the education at the top of the page, which for someone that is in school right now, I would have expected them to probably do, because when you're a recent grad or you're still in school and you're looking for jobs, that's what we have. That's literally the information that we have to look at. That's going to be most important. So if you're looking for IT positions, then you're going to have your IT education at the top and your IT experience at the top. So I don't think the high school information really needs to be here. They should take that out. It will free up some space where they can talk more about their other experience in here. So, for any recent graduates or someone that's in school, like this person appears to be studying cybersecurity, which is great, by the way, but they should definitely bring that to the top of their page. I don't know why they didn't. And then looking at the work experience, now it looks like I can keep them with points with the contact information. They have the email, they have the phone number. That is great. So, and I didn't rate the last one because that was tough. I wasn't going to give too many points for that last resume. But this one, it does have the information, their contact information, where they're located. Now, with Amazon, and I see this a lot with people that are in school, they don't really talk much about what they do because they kind of see, like, okay, this isn't really the job I want to do. But what you can do to highlight your experience is provide more details on the areas that you are actually wanting to work in. So they've been working as a technician, and they've been doing that for a while, even during school. So I would really take the opportunity to delve into that experience. So they're saying they resolve, and here's something that's really small, but it is something that recruiters do pay attention to, is taking the time to just grammar check and spell check your resume and just make sure the statements that you're using are concise, and also that they actually follow a certain flow and they're consistent. So I see here they're saying they resolve. Well, they're not working at this company anymore. So they should be putting on past tense. So it should be resolved all networking computer issues. And they should be able to say the actual type of issues. They could say including hardware, whatever, or Mac, Windows, whatever type of issues they were resolving, they should put that there. They managed a team of 5 IT techs. They could add in some more information there, but I do like that they're showing their management experience. Brought IT from being outsourced to in-house. So how did you do it? So brought IT from being outsourced to in-house by, I don't know, training X amount of folks on X, Y, and Z. Something. Just add a little more insight so I know exactly what those key accomplishments were. So again, I think it was Barry that said, showing the proof. Yes, show your proof here. And then the past experience, I would follow the same model. I don't like this. This is like a pet peeve for me. If you're applying to any type of communications company, it will be a pet peeve for them as well. But having a period here and not a period on the other statement, you need to just choose what you're going to do with bullets. Either you're going to put a period at the end of every statement or you're not. So don't do that. And then with this, they literally copied the same. So they're in 2 different jobs and they copy the same information both times. They're asking for tips on their resume. Dude, and I'm saying they're a dude, I think they are a dude. You can't just copy and paste here. You got to put in some effort. You got to put in a little effort. So these are 2 different jobs. So pro shop attendant, and you're taking all support calls. So you're doing the same thing at, 2 different companies and 2 different jobs. Come on. Anyway, so that would be my tips there, is to just add in a little more bulk to these areas. Spend more time identifying the work that you did, the key accomplishments. It seems like you have a lot to work with there. And then with Amazon, you can put in more information, or you could just leave it at 1 full statement about what you did there, or 2 full bulleted statements there. Don't just say load van, deliver packages. Every job you have, there's something that you are adding value to at that company. So add in some stuff there on a day-to-day. What are you doing? And it shouldn't just be, we just load the van. Well, what are you loading the van with? Like, what else are you doing? What's going on there? Deliver packages to where? Across the nation with this, or something. Just add a little more bulk so I understand what you're doing. So the other thing that I'm going to quickly highlight here, let me zoom in, is the skills are all the way down here. Now, you have the opportunity with a resume to add in skills all across and throughout your resume. This is your chance when you're talking about your skills, or when you're talking about your background and your experience, you can add in these skills here. So when they're saying resolving network and computer issues, they can say including Mac OS, Windows OS. So they can bring all those keywords up so that when you're submitting this resume to an applicant tracking system, and I know why they're not getting much luck with finding IT, either internships or jobs, they're not even going to be pulled up to relevant, like most relevant in the applicant tracking system, because they're not using all of the space that's provided them in this page to actually add in all these skills. You can say, you can state these skills more than once. So they're missing out on that opportunity. All right, I'm going to take this away. Oh, and then they're also adding their interest. I don't really care. I don't care. Like, companies don't really care about that. Like, we're going to learn about that as we get to know you. This has nothing to do, like, they even put Seinfeld in there. Well, what if I don't like Seinfeld? Or maybe I have a bias against people that like Seinfeld. That literally has nothing to do with the now studying Mandarin. That could have some potential, if you were a captain of your tennis team or your golf team, that's great. But just noting your interest, we don't care. All right. So kind of butchered that resume, but I'm going to go through my little thing here and let me see how I would rate them. So I said clean and concise. It was clean and concise. I will give a point there. The relevant experience, I can't give any points because they need to add in way more. They're trying to get an IT internship or job. Contact information's there. Education's there, but it's not where it needs to be. So I'm not going to give a point. Skills, it's there. I'll give like a half of my 2 points. And visual pop. So I'm giving this one a 5. 5 out of 10 points. Wasn't that great? They need to do a little work. And they're just being lazy. I'm saying I'm being a little biased, but they're just being a little lazy. Need to do a little work on that resume. Okay, let me see what's going on in the chat. Oh man, let me catch up here. Hey Zero, hey Angel, hey King of Kills. Let me see if there are any questions in here as I'm going off on my rant. Zero says, oh, Sheila said before Zero, the periods. Yes, just be consistent. That's all we want. And it really is important. And we're looking, that was an IT resume, but for those that are in marketing, PR, communications, I have literally talked to hiring managers when I worked at a PR firm, and it was like key. If we saw anything that was off with the writing, or we would give maybe one chance or two sometimes, but some hiring managers, nope, they spelled that wrong. Oh, they spelled the company name wrong. They're out. Because it's a communications firm. You have to be able to write really well. So if you can't do that and present it in your resume, that's your first, that's your kind of, what is it called? First foot forward. There's something I'm trying to say, but I'm just not thinking of it. But that's really the first chance you get to really make a good first impression. Thank you. What about jobs that you quit? Do you put them on the resume, and how likely will they call the former employer? Good question, Zero. So jobs you quit. So I have questions for you. It depends on the amount of time you were there at the company. Now, I would say if you were literally at a company for, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, probably not. You probably don't need to put that on your resume. But if you've got a company and you were there for a couple of months, maybe you're there for 3 months, and you actually did work that you can talk about in an interview, I would share that. Now, I also would caution you to think about the reason why you had to quit and knowing what story you're going to tell. Just be ready to talk about it. You don't have to provide a ton of information. I think that's what gets people into trouble. I just need to know, the why behind it. And most recruiters are going to ask you about your work transition. So why did you leave a company, or if you got fired, what happened generally? What I'm not looking for you to say is, oh, I quit because the managers were this and that and they were trying to do this, and I don't need all of that. Just say, I decided to leave for X. Or, an example, I left a PR firm that I was working with for 5 years, and I just decided to leave because I was looking at other opportunities in an area that company could not provide for me. I was specifically looking to move into training. There was not really a lot of opportunity for that at that company, so I decided to move on. So you see, I'm not bashing the company, and I'm saying like they wouldn't give me this opportunity, so I left. And I'm telling you, people say this. People will bash their manager, they will bash their whole team at the old company, they will say all this stuff, and all I asked them was, so why did you leave such and such? And then I get way too much information. It's like, whoa, 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 slow your roll. I didn't need it. I didn't need that. It's changing the whole dynamic of this conversation. If they don't care about interests, why put them on there? So, okay, yeah, some people, and I think students sometimes get the wrong information. A lot of the career advisors, they've never worked as a recruiter and they don't really know what employers are looking for in a resume. So sometimes they'll tell students, yeah, include your interests and this and that. No. Here's how you can actually include your interests. You can talk about organizations that you are a part of. What this person's doing is stating interests: golf, tennis, e-skating, paintball, solo traveling, studying Mandarin, Reddit, swimming, and side field. That has nothing to do with like this. It's just not relatable to you getting the job. But you can definitely talk about interests in this way. I lead I'm trying to think of a good example. I lead my college's tennis team, or I am a part of the Black Student Union at my college and I do X, Y, and Z, or these are some accomplishments. So talking about that is fine. But just saying, hey, I like tuna. Like, we don't care. What does that have to do with you getting this job? But people do that. Not to that extent. So yes, this guy needs a little work on their resume, and I can't even imagine that he went to the school's career like services on campus and they told him that resume was okay. I would be really surprised if he did. Okay, let me see here. What is the next one? Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff on here. I'll show you what they said on here first. So I'm going to share this. So they just said they would love some feedback. And I actually remember this one. I asked a question to them because I wanted to understand what area they were looking to move into. Were they looking to move into a project controller role or a like business analyst role? They've done both of these. So they've blotted some information out, which is going to make this one a little bit harder. But I'll try to review as much as I can. So let me see if I downloaded this one. I think I did. Give me 1 minute. Resume number 3 is right here. Alrighty, let's stop sharing that and move on to the actual download. I think it is still an image though, so it might be a little tough to read, but let's see here. Hi, God's chosen vessel. Hey, welcome in. All right, so let's cover this one. Make sure I got the right one. Again, we're gonna have to really zoom in on this one. Let's might be a little tough. Zoom. Hopefully you guys can see. It's not the prettiest thing to look at here, but this is someone that might have a lot more experience if they've been working as a project controller. Okay, so I don't know if they're including their contact information. I'm going to assume they have that in there. So they're saying they oversee general management, project controls, financial reporting of over 60 capital projects. Okay, good. Develop, and I'm guessing they are still working at this company, I hope. Develop tools for financial reporting, KPI development, project analysis, or analytics, if I can read, that drive decision making. Okay. Mine and analyze data from company databases to drive process. I like their action words that they've weaved in here. Built out SharePoint, Microsoft Teams sites to drive process improvement. I love that. Progress cost reporting and tracking systems. Test and total quality costs. You know what I would like them to do a little bit more of is just adding in some more proof with some percentages in here. But I think this is a good start. I think they can align with senior management to provide independent insights, options, cut costs. This would be a great area to really drive in some numbers, especially being a project controller, and really highlight those wins with cutting costs and improving, their processes. And so I think they're missing out on that. Let me see. Before they're saying they were owner of maybe a private investing company. So we're talking about that there. And I guess it just depends on what they're doing. I don't see anything wrong with that. But I would say overall, I like what the type of experience they're highlighting here. But I think it depends on if they're trying to stay into project controls or if they're wanting to move into business analysis. I just don't know what specific job they're trying to get into because they just said, review the resume. And then they're including their formal education down here. Okay, so here's my call out here. I'm going to zoom in a bit because I think this is a no-no. And I'm actually a little surprised. So Bachelor of Engineering Tech, Petroleum Engineering, Cape Breton University. I don't see a date in here, but I would always encourage if you're putting your education on your resume, definitely include the date if you can, unless you feel like you're going to be maybe a victim of ageism, which does happen. That would be the only time I say, okay, well, you may not want to include it. The reason why I say to include it is because sometimes we get the question of whether you completed the degree. Normally, the application, when you're actually submitting it, you'll be asked when you completed your degree. But it can be a nice thing to just have that date on there so you can actually note that you completed it, because right below that we've got Bachelor of Business Administration did not finish. Well, why are you even including that? We don't care. Just get rid of it. It doesn't really matter. Now, maybe they're trying to highlight their business experience in there, but I mean, they've been working within business and project controls and business analysis, over, I'm assuming, some period of time here. I can't see the dates, but they don't need that. And then they're saying engineering diploma, petroleum engineering. Well, they have a bachelor engineering tech, so it's petroleum engineering. This is just taking up space. Now, PMP candidate to be completed ASAP. I wouldn't have that same wording. You could just say in process or in progress. I wouldn't say it's going to be completed ASAP. What does that mean? And then the PMI. So that's good. I would just have literally the bachelor's degree and the PMP candidate in Project Management Institute there. And you could take out this other stuff because it doesn't matter. And then you have more opportunity to highlight some more of your skills in here. And overall, the resume is kind of blah. So what am I going to give this resume? The visual pop, I can't give them anything because it just doesn't even make me want to read it. When I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, I don't want to look at it." Don't make me read it. um, but I will go ahead and take off those 2 points. Skills. I wish they had highlighted some of their skills. They could have just put in, one of those. I have it on my resume. I should bring it up. But you could just do a table, get rid of the lines, put in the bullet points, and those are your skills, and highlight them. But I'll give them those 2 points because it's weaved into their letter of a resume. They do highlight relevant experience, as I'm assuming they're looking for a job in project controls. It's not clean and concise. I'll give them a half point for that. So they are getting, and then they did provide, I'm assuming, their contact information. I'm just going to give them that. So they are getting 6 points out of 10. So they just need a little bit of work to make this a little better. All right, let me see here. Barry says, yep, that did not finish and to be completed ASAP is weird. Yeah, I've actually not seen that before. I don't think I recall anyone saying, like, it'll be completed ASAP. Like, what? Gosh, chosen vessel. Gwen, hi Gwen. Would currently attending be better way to say? I would even say yes, currently attending. That's totally fine. Or in progress. That's fine. But to just be, or I mean, again, you can solve a lot of that too by putting the date. Like, just put the date in there too, so we can see, like, okay, you're still there. It's just, I don't know why they did that. Now, again, I do feel like for some of my older or more seasoned professionals, there is the fear of, I'm going to be, a victim of ageism. So I can understand if you got your degree back in, I don't know, 1985 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's too soon. 1970. I'm just picking random days before I was born. You may feel like you might be a victim of ageism. So I understand in those cases, because it literally does happen. I was going to talk about just how the boomers have been affected during this pandemic. I'll address that on another live, but it does happen. So those are the only scenarios where I say, you don't necessarily need to put your date, but that can actually help. Okay, I'm going to move on to my next one. And Edward is saying, I'm tough but fair. Well, you know what? I am just like, this is literally what a recruiter will think. A recruiter is going to look at it and be like, next. We don't have time. We just don't have time normally. And the more job candidates you have in a bucket, the less time we're going to try to take. Now, we are going to try to give it the best shot. We're going to look through it. We're skimming through. We're trying to give everyone the best chance. Some recruiters aren't like that, though. Most will try to give you a chance. You have your shot. We're looking at you. But you got to capture that attention. It's kind of like YouTube, what they tell us on here. Like, you got the first, 5-10 seconds to get someone engaged. So it's just on paper, you have to get that engagement. All right, let me see here. What is the next one? Did I just do 2? What is this one? Or am I on 3, 4? Okay, this is the 4th resume example. Okay, so this one I'm going to pull up. I don't know how to hide all of their information without... Okay, I'll do it that way and I'll just tell you. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Wait a minute. Is this it? Let me see. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right, I'm telling you guys, this is it. You guys don't know. You're like, we don't know, Jessica, tell us. All right, so there's a lot going on this page, but they're trying to keep a lot of information to one page. what I like about the resume, and I have it down here because I'm trying to hide their contact information, their name. Okay, I like the layout. They did, they got one of those templates and they did a layout that is more visually appealing. So I do like that. What I don't love is that it seems like they tried to cram a lot of information up in here. So they're definitely using a lot of that white space, which is good. But they're kind of cramming. They're like at that point where is all of this relevant? So let's see. So they are in school, it looks like. And they're showing the work history down here. Okay. So I don't love that they have the work history at the bottom. They're noting out these projects. So they're working in IT. They just graduated in December. Oh shoot, I still added their information because it's on the side. It's like everywhere. So I give them points for their contact information. They did include that, very easily seen. But they're giving a lot of information on their projects. I think they could take out some of these bullets. So how I would approach these projects, I would just pull out the highlights. They wrote a C++ program that we're reading this. Okay, so I would highlight the projects that seem to best match the specific job you're applying to, like Star Wars Reverse the Othello game. If you're applying to a gaming company, like, I don't know, what are some gaming companies? Nintendo. If you're applying to, I don't know, somewhere like that, maybe you'll pull out more of this project and highlight it. I don't feel like you need to highlight all three of these projects, or if you do want to highlight all three, I would take one or two bullets away just so we get a gist of the project and what were the highlights and the skills you use. I do like that they have their skills in here though. On the side they have their skills and qualifications. I'm not opposed to that. I think it will pull up in an applicant tracking system pretty well, and they're also noting that throughout their experience here. I like that. I just think they're using, like, these projects, I like they're highlighting them, but I do feel like they need to show that they have had some work experience, because I mean, as a company, we still want to know that you've worked in the real world, even though this is like delayed, like this is from 2016, 2017. I still think it's relevant experience that should be highlighted. Now in here, computer base, and it's relevant experience too. So I would definitely include that and bring that up to the top of the page, and then really focus in on the specific projects that make the most sense for each job that you're applying to. I would keep this as maybe your main resume, and then have a second one where you can just pull out some of this information and kind of customize it to each job. And then down here, we're looking at the other part of this too is, okay, so this person has learned all these skills in school, but what are the skills that are actually needed at the, with the specific job that you're applying to? So you may not need to include all of this, right? And all of these different things. So just be aware of that. So they're trying to cram in all of the skills and everything they ever learned onto this resume. So yeah, that would be my overall thoughts. So how should I rate this person? But I think overall, like, a decent resume. Let me see. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Back. All right, so I'm going to say clean and concise. I'm going to give a half point just because I felt like it was a bit cramped. Relevant experience, I agree, but I want them to customize it to the job they're applying to. They did include their contact information and education. Let me just double check. Yes, so they just graduated in December. So that's going to be a point there. And then another tip, they did include their location, Los Angeles, California. I would, oh, well, Chicago actually. So they have their education location. They can put that out, like the location of their school. They're saying California State University, so they can just take that Los Angeles out and give them a little more room on the page too. And then they're based in Chicago. So they may want to take their location off if they're looking for remote jobs, just because sometimes we may want to look for people that are based at that specific company location. So that would just be a tip there. Once we've talked to someone, a lot of times we're more open to offering, like, oh, well, maybe we can make this role remote. But when it's entry level, it can be a little tougher. Okay, let me see. And then skills, I give them 2 points for skills because they have them, but are they relevant? I'm going to give them a half point just because I do feel like they just kind of listed every single skill they had on there instead of the relevant skills. And then the visual pop, I'll give them a half point for that too. I think they did a decent job with that. So, okay, so they actually got 7 points. My 7 looks really bad. It's getting better, guys. Getting better. Okay, so let me look in the comments. Let's see. And hello, Miss Full Roller. Thank you so much. Yes, hit the like button, please. Hey, Cassandra. Welcome in. I missed you. Good afternoon. Do you have any resume questions? I am doing just live reviews. Let's see here. Zero says OBS would be perfect for hiding. Oh, really? Okay. You guys know that's still on my bucket list to get into OBS. Nintendo was the only gaming company she could think. Yeah, it was the only one I could think of. Well, I was gonna say Nvidia, but I don't think that's. I don't know if that's a gaming company or if that's the tech behind gaming. Okay, so I don't see any other ones in here. Let me just make sure no one snuck in here without me knowing. I didn't see him. Okay, I don't think so. All right, so I'm gonna move on along to my next person. Next victim. Just kidding. I guess I'll use this one. Let me look at this one first. Okay. So I saw these all like last night, and I was like, yeah, this looks good. And I just kind of went through Reddit and was like, who needs help? Okay. So this is a, oh boy, computer science freshman here. There's gonna be so many like folks in college needing their resume reviewed. Okay, college freshman in computer science. My internship applications keep getting rejected. I think I know why, but let's look at you. Let's see, and they blocked out a lot of information, which is, I mean, they blocked out everything. They didn't want you to know anything about them. But let's see. Let me see if I have the actual visual of their resume. I'm gonna say this is it. Oh, this is it. Okay. My neighbors next door are playing this music, and I'm just like, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's like, don't. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like pushing me to get like a house instead of a condo, as I was originally thinking. I don't know if I told you guys that. I am looking at condos right now, and it's moments like these where I'm like, maybe I should just get a house. But I just don't want to deal with all the hassle that comes with a house, to be honest. Okay, this goes there. Okay, let's see if you guys can see this one. Edward's really going to say I'm going to be a critic on this one. I already know. Oh, man. Okay, so this guy, he does have his name at the top of the page. So first thing first, just the layout of it. Like the last person, he could use that same layout, not have it be so cluttered with just cramming every single thing in there, and it would just visually look a lot better and make me go, "Yay!" I mean, I want to look at this resume, and I'm looking at it like, "Oh my goodness." So I immediately see there's a lot of white space in here, not a ton here, but let's see. So name is there, contact information is there. That is a win. And education seems to be there, and they have their like actual dates in there too. That's awesome. Now they could probably take out their high school information by now. As far as the education goes, they're getting their bachelor's degree and they're about to graduate soon. Or did they? Oh, they're a freshman, right? They are a freshman, so they're early on. So I won't go so hard on them because they are freshmen. They don't have that much experience yet. So degree at some university in computer science, and they have just started their degree October 2020. October 2020. Okay. Oh, that's tough. So they actually started during the pandemic. Man, I feel for them. In that case, I guess they can include their high school or whatever this preparatory year and all this stuff is. I get where their thinking is with that. So that's fine. But wait a minute. September 2005? What? In high school? Okay, maybe they need to take this out or they need to update this date. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. Why were you in school for over 10 years in high school? So I don't know if this might be an international student or something, but yeah, that's different. They need to either take that out or update their dates in there. And then they're saying they're a digital video content researcher for creative content manager to create a consistent video content calendar for a YouTube channel with over 1.5 million subscribers. You need to take out one of those dots. Prepared and wrote accurate weekly briefs for various video topics and welcomed. They need to have this spell checked. Welcomed constructive criticism with an open mind, always seeking to improve work. Um, so I get what they're trying to say with that, but they can take that out. Um, yeah, they can just take that out. What they could say is they directly um, gain constructive criticism to identify ways to improve the work within that YouTube channel or something along those lines. That just clean that up a little bit. Yeah, they need to spell check. They just need to spell check that and watch out for little errors like that. And then also with the title, digital video content resources, that can be in all caps there. So anyway, moving on through the experience. So they were a program alumni. I don't know what this is, but they participated in a non-formal three-year educational program aiming to optimize opportunities for high-achieving, innovative, and distinguished students in Palestine. Okay, that answered my question up here. I was wondering if they were international student, maybe. Okay, so they still need to clean it up because someone's gonna look at them and be like, "What?" They may not connect those dots. Okay, so distinguished students in Palestine enroll in internationally acclaimed university. Partook in over 450 hours. Yeah, and then as an international student too, for international students, you have to have someone that is a native English speaker review your resume. You have to have like one or two people just literally walk with you through your resume so that to make sure that what you're trying to get across in your writing here actually is what you mean. So make sure you take the time to do that. I know it's tough when you're an international student, you don't fully understand, the language. It's kind of like when I was in Spain. When I would write papers in Spanish, and especially when I was in Spain, because they were it's like Americans going to England and learning English. So they were strictlers on everything. And I had my friend who was a native speaker, I would have her review all of my papers. Even if I had looked over it 10 times, I needed her to review it because there's just the context and differences in language. So that would be my overall tip for this person, anyone that is an international student trying to get a job in an English speaking country. Even though I do know they speak English in Palestine too, or, Palestine and all those Middle Eastern countries. Attended summer camps focusing on career counseling, volunteering. I think they should probably break this up too for the different programs. So they actually can have a section called like accomplishments or maybe even scholarships or high achievements or whatever to break up some of this. I think that would be a great thing to do. And then it says Model United Nations instructed into 23 students participating in my school's model and UN club and speech writing and research method. I think this is good, especially considering he's a freshman in college. I would just say have someone that speaks English really look at this. And then as you gain more experience in college and as you get skills, definitely build and then get a different type of template that's just more visually appealing, because even interns and even like freshmen and sophomores are going to have better looking resumes. So those would be my tips for them. Let me take this away and stop sharing. And I see a question came through from Cassandra. All right, so I'm going to score this one. Clean and concise. I will give them the points for that. Relevant experience. That's kind of hard to say. I don't really know what they're going to do, but I guess YouTube, computer science, I guess it works. Digital video content works for me. And then contact information is, I believe, there. Yes. So they are going to get, and then they don't have a skills section, but I'm kind of going to give them a little leeway because they're freshmen, but they definitely need to build that in as they start getting more. I mean, well, they should have some skills either way because they're calling out things here. Digital, yeah, they should have a section for skills. So I'm not going to give them that one. Visual pop, I'm going to have to take away too. So they are winding up with 6 points. But if they, work on the visual, get like a little cute template, they'll be fine. And then get a skills section and start building on it. Okay, Cassandra. God's chosen vessel. Gwen said, LOL, victim. Next victim. No, it's all in hopefully it'll be helpful. Okay, so when it comes to resumes, I had a professor make a statement to remove your full address from your resume to prevent discrimination. Would you agree with that statement? Your full address? Yeah, I never say include your full address. Mm-mm. I never say you have to. Now, some people do include their address. I wouldn't say, I think for students, depending on what location you're in, like if you live in St. Louis, Missouri, for example, I have told people to remove their high school because in St. Louis, that is an environment where you immediately know someone's race, their background, their socioeconomic status, all these things that can impact them. And I would say, hey, you're going to a good college, just take out your high school because you don't want that, discrimination, if I can say the word, to come into play before you even had a chance to talk to someone, right? So if your professor is telling you to take your address off, I would definitely take that advice. Now, you can you can still put your location on there if you like, but my thing is that the address doesn't really matter. The only time it matters to me as a recruiter is when I'm actually submitting an offer letter. So if I don't see the address on a resume, I'm just going to reach out to you once I have an offer, like when I'm submitting an offer. Because when we put together an offer letter, we need your address, which is easy. It's nothing for me to go, hey, send me your address. So I don't really care about the address until that point, to be honest with you, like the full address. Now, when it comes to location, that is something that I care about. So if I don't see the location on your resume, I will just ask you on the phone. So if I have a Sorry, guys, someone's calling me. So if I have a role and it's based in Los Angeles, and I really want to focus on people in Los Angeles, if I see someone that's in New York, they're not going to be in my bucket of people where I immediately want to talk to you, right? So I would say you can leave off your location if you know that a position is based in another location far away from you. So that would be my other tip. And then let me see what other. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, yes, I would agree with that. Um, if you're hearing it from a professor, they're telling you, I'm sure they know, I'm sure they've seen it. I have seen discrimination myself based on things like I said, what high school you went to, what area you live in, all that stuff. So, yes. And also, we haven't seen an example here, but I don't know why people say do this, but some people even put their photo on their resume. So I would always just say don't include your photo. Now, for international students, it's just different, so they will include their photo. But I just say don't. Why? Unless you're trying to be like a news anchor or model or I don't know, something like that. It doesn't. There's no reason. I don't need to see your picture. I don't need to see you until we're engaged and I know that I want to move forward in the interview process. Eventually, folks are going to see what you look like, right? But your main goal is to get that chance. You don't want to be passed over early on before you even talk to someone, before you even decide if you really are interested in the company, before you had your chance to shine. So that's the whole big point about that. Thank you, Gwen. Oh, you're taking notes. All right. That's what this is about. And I'll probably hold another one. I know we're getting little late here. I just hit my hour mark. So I'm going to try to go through some of these and answer any other questions while I'm here. Cassandra, based on zip code. Yeah, for sure. Zip code. Okay. Yeah, I would take it out. Just take it out. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. I would say what you need to focus on with your resume is making sure your contact information is there, making sure that you have your background and work experience buttoned up. You have those skills identified where it's easy to see what your skills are. And then, just visually, you make sure that it's very clear, concise, to the point. It looks good. It's a resume that's inviting. It's kind of like a book. Like if you look at a book and it just looks dry and dreary, the photo doesn't even look nice. Are you going to read it? Are you going to be like, "Ooh, I want this one"? No, you're going to be like, "No, I don't like that one." But you're going to look at this other book that's like glossy all on the cover, looks enticing. You're like, "Ooh, what's this one about?" It could be about financial, I don't know, balance sheets for all you know. But the cover looks good, so you're going to at least open it up to give it a chance. You're going to look at the back to see what it's about. So that's all I'm trying to get when it comes to the visual. It doesn't need to be too crazy looking or anything, but it should be clean and, fairly nice looking, just visually appealing. Like, when you look at your resume, does it make you feel good? That should be a good cue. And then if you want someone else to take a look, I am always here. Obviously, I will be nicer. But, I'm here to help. Okay, now I think this one is a good resume to look at. And I'm going to show it on the screen. I know, Edward. Yeah, it is sad that people have to remove certain aspects of their life, really, just to make sure they're not discriminated against. It is sad. But some people don't even know about it. They didn't even realize that, these things were happening. I talked to a guy, he is from Argentina, and he knew nothing about that. Had his photo, he had a bunch of information on there, marital status. I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to change this. I just need a version with this stuff taken out." And I was like, I want to make sure it's the best effort. Okay, sorry guys, I am showing the vote. I'm showing the. I think this one I found. I'm not 100 sure I found this one on Reddit. Let me take a peek at something real quick. Example 6. Yeah, I think I found this one. Okay. I might have found this one off Reddit. Okay, so the visual I love. I love the visual. They made the effort to make their resume look really good. I don't advise including your social channels on your resume unless you're highlighting your LinkedIn, or if it's like a work related thing, or your maybe your website, portfolio online, something like that. Oh, quick tips. I don't know if there's anyone that's in a creative field, but whether you're a student or whether you've been working in the creative industry, like video production, creative director, art designer, whatever, you have to have an online portfolio. I have talked with a number of folks. Normally, these are older professionals or more seasoned professionals, where they're like, I asked them for a portfolio, and they're like, "Oh, I have a booklet of my work, or I need to clean it up, or the site is down." Like, no, we need to get that site up because we have to be able to show. A lot of times with hiring managers that are in a creative space, they want to look at your portfolio before the resume. Sometimes they just want to see your work, they want to see the conceptual thinking behind your work, if that clearly comes across, and that they want to look at the portfolio before they look at your resume is good, okay. Then they'll move forward with talking to you. If we don't have a portfolio, a lot of times they don't want to see you. So you have to have an online accessible portfolio that is up to date. Okay, that's my kind of off on a tangent. Talk about creative, jobs. So, okay, looking at this person. Okay, they have this statement at the top. They have their about. I don't recommend this, but they're saying they're self-determined and motivated high school student, keen on learning and improvising in a new environment, able to utilize math skills, strong interpersonal communication, and mix of tech. So you guys see how I moved right past this when I zoned in on a resume? I'm not reading that. Like, I'm just not doing it. So back to the statement about having the objective or the summary or whatever. I That's going to be one of the last things I look at. So kind of like with job seekers don't typically look at the top page. They go in and they look at, okay, what are the qualifications I need? What is this job? And they kind of go into qualifications, they go into the job, and then they kind of look at everything else. That's what recruiters do. We go in, we look at, okay, what's your experience? Do you meet the qualifications? If there's an education qualification or whatever, certifications. We're looking for all of that stuff. And then we're kind of looking at, okay, is there something missing, something else I need to know? Okay, so education experience, they're saying high school, they're graduating in 2023. They're so ahead of the game. They're ahead of the game. But okay, cool. Apex Friendship High School, North Carolina. AP capstone candidate for junior and senior year. So this is just a different type of resume. They're probably going to use this resume to, get little jobs here and there, and probably use it even for scholarships for college. I would say highlight, these different programs that you're a part of. Probably organize this a little bit better so it's clear. It kind of tells more of a story here. Played for the school soccer team, TED Ed club member. Yeah, they should break this up and just say, programs or school involvement or something, and just add that stuff there. Core qualifications, they just need to say skills. They can just put skills and then note these in a different way. Soft skills, we'll figure out the soft skills when we talk to you, so that can go away. Technical skills would stay. Let's see. Or they're saying they have these soft skills up here. If they just want to take one sentence or two sentences, that's fine, but there should not be 6 lines of your about section. We're not going to read it. We might read a line of it. So just use, a short 1-2 sentences if you have to have a summary, and then you can highlight all those soft skills in there, but we don't believe you until we talk to you. We just don't believe you. And then they're saying a personal note. Hey, did they, wait a second. Okay. Okay, so they're Elhan. I'm originally from Bangladesh. They don't need to really talk all of that stuff because, again, even international students can be, a victim of discrimination. So we don't even really need to know all of that. I have a really outgoing, impulsive personality, and I am mainly focused on finding some primary work experience as a student intern, open to almost every field. Okay, that is your highlight up here. Self-determined, motivated high school student seeking for internship opportunity. And it'd be even better if you can say in etc., like in programming, or I don't know, in science, a science related internship opportunity, something like that. Take it away, like add something else there, add your skills there. And I'm messing up Ilhan, but again, I don't think this is one from Reddit, so I might be okay. And then he's including his contact information. Okay, I'm gonna grade this one. I like the visuals. I love the visual, actually. I wish all the resumes had something that looked a little bit better like this one. So I'm giving 2 points for that. Contact information's there. Education's there. Skills are there, but they need to reorganize it. Is it clean and concise? I'm going to give them 1 point for there. It's clean. It's not concise. Like the look of it is clean, but it's not concise. They really need to clean up their education experience and pull out some of their projects and programs and just literally have a section that shows that. And then relevant experience, I just don't know because, well, I'll just say yeah. I'll just say yes because they're in high school. So this one actually gets, no, this one actually did well. I'm surprised. I think I went a little easy on this one, but we have, if I stop sharing, we have a 9 on that one. And I think it's slightly because I went a little easier. But overall, I mean, it did draw me in, but they just need to make some little changes here and there and take out some of that information that's not really worth it. Edward said, yep, definitely. Paolindo, hey, Paolindo, welcome in. You saying hi to everyone. Oh, you're welcome, Cassandra. You're welcome. Let me know if you have any other questions. Good day. Hey, Mr. B. Nice to see you. Hi, Twisted. Welcome in. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. And Paolindo is cleaning. Oh, of course, after dinner. So, in true fashion of my live chats, we have to know what Paolindo had for dinner in Italy. Okay, let me see if there was any other. Okay, I am going to use, I think, these last 2 for my examples to close things out today. And this one is, I actually like this one, but it's actually a sample that someone used. So let me pull up the Reddit question. Oh, this was a good question. Okay. I'm going to share so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So this was a question that was on Reddit. And I can't zoom in. Wait. Okay, there we go. So they're basically asking, when you submit a resume to a potential employer, or they're saying when you submit a resume to a potential employer, submit it as a PDF, not a Word document. So I normally agree with this, but sometimes it depends on the specific system that the company is using. So there's so many different applicant tracking systems, or sometimes you'll hear the word ATS system, or ATS, sorry. But most are good with PDFs. So I do agree with this statement. So if you have a resume, I would always suggest having it in a Word format and a PDF format. Now, what I would say is weird that sometimes people will submit resumes in this format is an RFT or like an image. Like, don't do that. Don't submit an image of your resume or RFT or anything different. It should definitely be PDF would be first. But if you can't submit in a PDF or you're being told to submit in a Word document, I would definitely do that if someone's telling you to submit it in a certain format. So I'm gonna take that away. But normally, yes, PDF would be best. Okay, did I open this other one? This guy's still playing music, but it's a little softer now. Yay. Now this is okay, so I have two different ones. One is a law student, and then this other one is an IT leader. So I will go with the law student first, and then I'll go with the leader. And let me hide some stuff in here. Okay. And hopefully I am almost sharing. Okay, let me zoom in. So really quickly with this one, their name is just John Doe, so I can put that in there. So they have, so this is a good example actually. So this one came from Reddit, and they were just wanting some general thoughts, I believe. Let me go back to what they said. Okay, yeah. So, I would say they don't need their full address in there, as we talked about, Cassandra. And then their numbers in there, their contact information's there. Oh, did they put in their slu.edu? We might have gone to the same college. Let me see here. They're putting, okay, so if they're planning to use this, I would say, why are they putting, okay, so that's weird. I would definitely take their GPA off of here. Because if you can see this, their City University Law School, they're saying their GPA was 2.9 and their percentile 44. I would take that out. And I would also take the GPA out for your BS economics degree. It was a GPA 3.2, just because it's not stand out. So if I'm looking at another candidate that just happens to have a GPA that's higher, if this is a law program, they're going to be looking for different things that can count people out of the program. So I wouldn't promote that. The resume really is your advertisement. So you're not going to want to promote, hey, I got a 2.9 GPA. And I've talked about this. I had a video like 2019. I was like randomly ranting in my car, like, stop doing this, because I was supporting like some type of internship, and I kept seeing these resumes and they all had like 2.9, 3.0, 2.8, 2.7. Like, it was just like, why are you highlighting this? We don't need to, like, this is not something I advertise. But anyway, I'm not going to focus on that. But just note, if you have a lower GPA, it's not terrible. You just don't want to advertise it. I don't think GPAs are going to determine if you're successful in a job by any means. But when you're comparing your resume to someone else's, if they're saying they have a 3.8 or 4.0 GPA, we can't help but compare that. So just take it off. Summer intern, 2016 to 2018, completed cost analysis to improve production efficiency. That's cool. Connected with the company's initial asset. So they're trying to get a job in the law field. Connected to the company's initial asset inventory, aided in administrative tasks such as document retention, including electronic maintenance. accounting, human resources, I'd probably adjust some of these experiences that this person had, because you think of the legal field or you think of a law clerk, they're going to be doing more administrative stuff in the beginning. Or if they helped with the human resource department or accounting department with any drafts or writing, they just need to focus a little bit more on any skills they may have had. I mean, this is only 5 bullets, but I'm sure if they've been an intern with that company or this LLC between 2016 and 2018, they've done more than these 5 things. So they really need to focus on, the the things that will really stand out for places looking for a legal intern or a legal fellow or whatever, law clerk maybe. So some of these experiences, wait, hold on, I think they misspelled that, but it's a little blurry. Free trade requirements using online client portals. I think that's great. Keep that in. Planning software to complete various. They don't need that really. Again, it just goes back to customizing that experience. The Italian's premium pizza. I think it depends on what job they're applying to. If they're applying to internships, include it. If you're applying to full-time work, you can take it out. If there's more you can highlight here with this summer internship, 2016 to 2018, that's what you need to highlight. For internships, this is good because it shows that you've been working during that, full time and you are a manager. So we're catering to the specific jobs that we're looking for. And then I don't know if they're trying to be like a tax attorney, but this tax assistant, like this volunteer, I like they include that. And then overall, just the overall look of it, I would change it because it's one of those kind of generic templates. They need to just make it look more visually appealing like that other resume we saw from Elhan. So I'm going to get rid of that. So that was my overview of the law student example. They can do better. I'm sure they did so much from 2016 to 2018, even if it was just the summers. I've been an intern. I've hired interns. I know they're doing all sorts of stuff. So what I recommend when you have an internship program is to have an Excel grid or some kind of document where you're noting yourself all of the things and all the projects that you're working on, and you kind of have this compiled file of everything that you did. Save that and hold on to that so that as you're working on finding other internships or job opportunities, you can rely on that, because you just do so much sometimes that you forget, like, oh, I finished this great project, or I can highlight these skills, because you're running all over the place a lot of times. And so after a year or two, you've forgotten it. So just make sure that you're keeping track of some of this. Even for a summer, sometimes I remember some of the summer internships, like you start and you're like bright-eyed, bushy tails, and by the end of it, you're like, oh my gosh, what a whirlwind, what did I do? So just make sure you're keeping all of that stuff together. And then the last resume I'm going to look at, let me look at some comments before I go on to that one though. You will make me feel like a VIP in this chat. Yes, you gotta tell us the details. Food evening. Is there a better way to list everything, like education first or work experience? Good question, Gwen. So I don't know if I already covered that. So it just depends. So for my more seasoned professionals, I would say your biggest strength is your actual work experience. So you want to come in highlighting that immediately. And for my more seasoned folks, I actually would see them having an objective or a summary over someone that's like in school, or you got a few years of experience, or got maybe 5 to 10 years of experience. No, for my more seasoned professionals, those that are looking for leadership roles, those type of positions, I would say yes, definitely focus on your work experience, not so much education. So those are the scenarios where you see the work experience at the top, and then at the bottom, you'll see the education experience. Because as I'm thinking as a recruiter, I'm looking at your resume and I'm saying, okay, I'm really zoning in on, okay, what have you accomplished? What are you doing now? What have you done? How does it resonate to the role I have? So if I have an HR management role, what are the specific skills I'm looking for? Maybe there are certain systems I need you to have some exposure to. Maybe I need to make sure that you've led a team. Maybe I need to make sure that you've implemented, I don't know, some type of HR program. I'm going to be looking at that first. Next, if the requirement is for a bachelor's degree, well, a lot of times I will have that in the applicant system. I will have a question in there saying, do you have a bachelor's degree in X, Y, and Z, or related experience? Sometimes it's, do you have a degree or relevant experience? So I'm going to ask all those questions up front. So if I'm looking at your resume, I already know you have an education, or I already know you have a degree, right? That's for most applicant tracking systems. Most systems actually, pull out the folks that don't meet the criteria. So if someone has said, no, I don't have a bachelor's degree, but the requirement is for a bachelor's degree, they're already out of my pool. So in most cases, I know, and I'm just, when I have the conversation with someone, I'm confirming. Now, do people lie on their application? Of course. And I've definitely had the scenarios where I'm like, so do you have a, bachelor's degree? I'm confirming, I have these questions I just need to confirm for the application. And they're like, well, see, what happened was, I didn't complete it because I had to pay the school, or I just need these 2 credits, or something, some type of story. It's, it happens I don't know, probably depending on the position, there are probably 1 or 2 people that are like, well, not quite, or I almost got it, or I'm going to get it next year. And it's like, no, we need you to have a degree for certain roles. Some roles we don't require it. But yeah, so coming back to your question, is there a better way to list everything? There's always a better way to list everything. And I do say that different people you talk to may have a different answer. Like I said, career advisors at school are going to have a totally different outlook from me, because I'm basing it off of, okay, here's what I'm looking for. Here's what other recruiters I'm working with. Here's what we're all looking for when we're looking at a resume. Career advisors are going to have just a different approach. A professor is going to have a different approach to how they look. So that's why I say with academia, you're going to want to go in with like your education, certifications, publications, any type of academic programs. You're going to go in with a lot of that stuff. So when you're writing a resume, for example, for a scholarship or fellowship, it's going to look different. But when you're talking about work and trying to find a job, you're going to want to, especially at a senior level, you're going to want to go in first with that. Now, backtracking to someone that's in school now and they're looking for an internship, or they're graduating school and they're looking for a first-time job or something. A lot of what we're going to have to look at, because you don't have as much experience, is the education. So we're going to look at maybe the school that you went to, what you're studying, and making sure that's relevant. So if I'm looking for an accounting specialist, you have an accounting degree and a finance degree. So that's actually a plus. Or maybe you have CPA, you just got your CPA, you're working on your CPA. That's a plus a lot of times for accounting roles at the junior level. And so I'm going to look at that. And maybe you have a high GPA, 3.9. These are things I can sell to the hiring team. And I'm kind of checking off the boxes. So I'm like, okay, great. And so now that I know that about my junior level person who's been in school the past 4 years, what experience do they have? Okay, they actually have real world internship experience. Great. So I'm going to look at it that way. So hopefully that answers your question. I think that's a great question, by the way, Gwen, because it does depend on your scenario sometimes. And thank you so much. Makes perfect sense. Perfect. All right, cool. So I am going to move on to this next one. Did I rate that last one? Oh, well. I tried. Let's see. So what is this one? Okay, this one was a template. I can't remember where this came from. I want to say it was Reddit, but the person was like, just give me some tips. Let me take a quick look at it, though, before I don't want to lie to you. I was talking about Angel. I don't know if Angel's still in here, but I just burped, but I don't know if anyone can hear it. So excuse me so much. Let me see here. I was talking about my fellow YouTuber Angel because I was on his live chat last night and we were talking about his burping. And I think the thing is, Angel, if you're in here, it's just louder. Everyone can hear it. I'm so off topic. You guys know towards the end of the chat we could be talking about anything. All right, so I'm trying to get back onto the Reddit post because I'm trying to see if it came from that. So that one did. This one I could have looked at. I'll save this for another day. Oops, Elhan did come from Reddit. Sorry. But you put it out there. Um, okay, cool. I'll just use this one. Okay, I know where this one came from. This one came from Reddit too. Okay, I'm gonna share it. Sorry guys, I keep getting calls, so I'm gonna have to pop off of here pretty soon. But I'm gonna review this last one. Okie dokie. I've got this one pulled up at least, and now I can share. Maybe. Okay. Is this it? I don't know if this is it. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. So they just, let me go back to their post real quick. Because they said on their post, IT infrastructure manager slash IT director role. What do you guys think about this resume? And they sent a link to this image. I like to move out of consulting into a client role into an IT infrastructure manager or IT director role. Okay. Let me go back to here is some feedback I received from a recruiter that I only partially agree with. Well, let's see. I love the look, and that is all. Okay, I'm not going to read her or his or her feedback, so I'm just going to look at it myself. All right, so, but I do agree with the look of it. Yes, I like the look. It's clean. It draws you in. Has the information there. So contact information is at the top. Cool. LinkedIn is on there. They have a LinkedIn. Yes. And they have a professional summary. It's not too long, and they're in a leadership role. So let's see what they have here. They're saying they're a results-driven information technology thought leader with 12 years of experience across multiple roles, background ranging from shaping and propelling strategic vision to architecting and implementing complex hybrid solutions, committed to improving company infrastructure while protecting corporate values and producing an engaged team. I like the summary. That's fine. And the reason I say this is great to have this summary there is because they are an IT leader. They're like an IT leadership. So they should be calling out these things. Actually, for infrastructure, they're saying they're trying to move into infrastructure. Okay. Wait, let me go back to see what they said. I like to move out of consulting into client role. Okay, so they're trying to move from being a consultant, which I can understand because consulting's they've just been hit because you can't travel. So, and then a lot of clients pulled away. They had to, focus on their budget, so they couldn't work with a lot of clients, or they couldn't work with a lot of consulting firms like Deloitte, for example, or Ernst and Young, and all these different ones. So they're wanting to move into an IT infrastructure manager or IT director position. So one question I wonder is if they want to, like, with leadership, you could lead projects or programs, or you could also be leading people, or both. So I wonder what type of leader he wants to be. But I like that he put in here committed to improving company infrastructure because that is something that we're going to wonder about. And then also implementing complex hybrid solutions. I think that's great to include in there as an IT leader in general. Contact information's there, education's there off on the side. If I need to see it, great. And he has a Master of Science Network Security. That's cool. And I'm calling that out just because I'm like, okay, he's, hit those buckets that would have come through with the application. He's a practice manager, private cloud, team lead, modern infrastructure. So he's had these different roles at this company. It's how I'm reading this. And he's saying anywhere in the USA. Well, I think he's just doing that because he's sharing his resume out there, but hopefully he'll share the location, or he'll just take that off. He doesn't necessarily have to have the location. All I really need to know is when you're working there, especially in this world of remote work. I like some of the numbers I'm seeing in here. So devise a new go-to market strategy, services portfolio that aligns more tightly with industry trends and team skill set, which resulted in the average of, this is a long sentence, so you might want to break it up, period. Results were average of 80% billable rate for the entire team in Q1 2021. Okay. So they're saying in Q1 isn't over though, but okay. Okay, this should result in meeting or exceeding. Okay, great. So they're saying they're basically on the trend of this achievement. Onboarded new partners and strengthen the relationships with existing ones. I think he needs to reword that. Increasing the size. So he's saying he onboarded new partners and strengthen. Okay, he needs to have someone grammar check his resume and strengthen the relationships with existing ones, increasing the size of services portfolio 15%. I like that. Simultaneously reducing our costs by 5 to 10% on average. I like that too. And led a team of 7 during challenging year 2020 to the following financial. And he's changing the flow of his communication here. I don't like that. He needs to stay consistent. And then he's adding the financial results here, revenue over the net. So I think he needs to clean that up a little bit. Design development plans for all team members and promoted 2 of them to the next level. He can clean that up a little bit too. He's saying promoted 2 of them to the next level position, increasing their billable rate to decline by 19%, in turn improving our bottom line. I feel like he's already kind of addressing that there. He should use this to discuss something else that's very specific to the job that he's applying to. Architected and implemented a new, fully redundant and dynamic WAN infrastructure for a major healthcare provider that brought there. Okay, so something else, hopefully he'll have this in here, is with consulting, they'll normally have the specific client that he's worked with. So hopefully he'll provide that there too. But I know he's just, he's trying to clean it up so he's not sharing all this information. And then he's got his prior information. I like that he highlights his recent experience in here. That's great. And then over here, he highlights some of the awards that he's received. I think that's really good. Like I said, the one thing I would just try to clean up is the language. He needs to be consistent with how he's telling his story here. And with infrastructure, I would just hope that he's really focused on what he specifically wants to do. So he's saying he led a team of 7 during challenging year 2020, but okay, what were some of the challenges, or what were some of the leadership call outs that he needs to put in there? If he's wanting to lead a team, he definitely needs to start talking more about the people leadership a part of this role. So that's what I would tell this guy. But overall, with the resume, just kind of zooming out here, the look of it, I love the look of it. It draws me in. It makes me actually want to, read through here and see what his story is. The bullets in here, again, just being consistent. I liked how he started, but then some of the verb tense in here isn't right. So he needs someone to take a look at it grammatically. And then this revenue over net, he needs to clean up this whole statement what is he trying to say? And then if he's trying to move into infrastructure, he may want to just make sure that he's looking at a position, finding what they specifically need as an infrastructure manager, and have some space in here where he can, chug in, kind of move some stuff out, move the relevant items in there. And then two, he needs to say, like, whatever client or clients that he was working with in here, I should be able to see, okay, he's been consulting with Deloitte. I'm just saying them for an example. And this is his specific client. If he wants to include the location, that's fine with me. He doesn't need to. And then he has the dates in here, which are good. So the other thing I would probably have a question for him on is just more so maybe the background of his why. Like, why does he want to make this transition? He doesn't really state anything up here. He's, making it seem like he's already doing it. So it kind of makes me question, okay, are you ready to make the move into infrastructure? Like, you were focused on private cloud right now, you're a practice manager. So what's missing? So I would have those questions when I would get on the phone with this person. I don't know. Any questions on that one? I'm going to close this down so I can look at you in your face. Let's see. Okay, Sheila, you're still in here. Okay, Sheila, would it be okay to attach a copy of a degree with resume when applying, or would that be weird? Okay, so I see I see people attach all kinds of stuff to their resume, and unless it's really required. So for example, if you're applying to maybe a fellowship, or you're applying to a certain program where they're saying like, hey, we need you to provide like your transcripts or all these things, the company will tell you if you need to provide anything outside of a resume. It will be in the qualifications and the steps. So make sure you're reading through the actual job description, because that's where you'll find that information of what you need to include with your resume. For example, I led a fellowship program where I required students to provide their resume, a cover letter, 2 writing samples, and for my creative ones, they needed to provide their portfolio link. And then I also had them include letters of recommendation, so reference letters as well. So all of that was lined out that they needed to include that stuff. With your degree copy, definitely keep that degree copy for sure. The only time I would say we would need that is once we've decided, like, hey, Sheila, we want to hire you. I'm going to send you the offer letter. Here are the next steps. We're going to run a background check. They may ask for a copy of your degree. So you definitely want to have that on hand. You definitely want to have things like references, a list of references available. But even with references, I do not advise anyone to include that with your resume, because one, you want to make sure you've prepped your references, and then two, you don't want to kind of get ahead of the process, right? You can always have that ready for if they need it, but it shouldn't be a requirement unless you're being asked. But good question. I think a lot of people are confused about that, because I do see people send all kinds of stuff, like not even just student, like these are folks that have been working for 10, 15 years, and they'll include like, I don't know, just random. One time I got what was it, a police report or something, and they'll include, like, project managers will include all of these different submissions for their work, and I'm just like, just do an online portfolio, or just hold on to it until we need it. We don't need it yet. Let me see here. Zero says it's all good, Paulindo. Oh, you're multitasking. Okay, Zero, thank you for being here. God's chosen vessel. Fancy looking. You like the look. So you like the look of the resume too? Awesome. Oh, and I didn't rate it. Guys didn't tell me. I didn't rate it. Okay. So was it clear and concise? I would say yes, for the most part. Outside of some things that outside of things I said. And then relevant experience, I don't quite know, because I don't have a job description in front of me, but I think he pulled out some good experiences. But the question I have is he trying to be a people leader too? So if he's trying to be a people leader, he needs to add more of that experience in there. So I'm going to give half a point, like half of my 2 points for that. Contact information was there, education was there, and he did include his highest level of education, which I like. I don't think you need to add all of your education every single time if it's not relevant to the job that you're trying to get. And then skills, I'm going to give him half a point. Let me look back at his resume. I don't know if he, you know what? Yeah, I mean, he's a leadership. He's saying leadership strengths. He's saying builds partnerships, innovates, drives change, enables, motivates, develops others and self. Okay, that's good, but he hasn't proved that with his experience he shared. And the other part of that is being in IT, I didn't see too many. I saw the certifications, which is great, but I didn't see too many specific IT systems or anything that he was highlighting. Like if he's working in the cloud, well, do you have AWS experience? Do you have Google Cloud experience? Do you have Azure experience? Where's your experience technically? And so I think a lot of that was missing. Even when I looked at his experience in the past as a senior data center engineer, the experience, like, it wasn't there. So that I'm gonna have to take off the points. I'm gonna have to take off half a point. He gave some leadership skills, but it wasn't all there. Visual pop, I'm going to give him 2 points for. So he gets this. He gets an 8. He gets an 8 score. Only reason he gets an 8 is because I have questions about the experience and the skills. So he got 1 point knocked off for each of those because I just don't understand why that IT experience isn't there. Like the IT systems or like the specifics just aren't there. So, and then again, if he wants to be a leader, I would advise him to put in some more specifics around his leadership style or how he's been able to grow his team or something. He doesn't really talk much about that, but it may be because he was a team lead and then a practice manager. So maybe he hasn't had that opportunity. Let's see. Hey, partly cloudy. And oops, I was trying to highlight you, but it went too fast. Hey. Let me see. I think I missed everything, but hey, partly cloudy. Thank you, Edward. Yes, please do hit the like button, or we're gonna work on that like button, right? Let's see here. 0%. Yeah. Paolindo. Oh my gosh. You didn't tell us what you were eating, Paolindo. Let me see. Thank you for the thumbs up, Paolindo. Yeah, I was editing a video. Okay, cool. 0. All right, so I think I'm going to close this out. Oh my gosh, it's been almost 2 hours, guys. Thank you for hanging in here with me. So we have taken a look at a couple of different resumes today. So some student resumes, law student, leadership resumes. The main takeaways that I want you to think about are going to be, and I'm going to write them down. Here's how we remember. So my ratings were on being clean and concise. So I want it to be very clear to see, what is your story when we're writing resumes. I also want to see relevant experience. So we're not just throwing the same resume out to every single job we apply to because we're real people. We have different interests. So we may have 2 different jobs that we will be interested in. I may want to look at recruiting jobs. I may want to look at diversity and inclusion jobs. I'm going to have a different resume for each of those because the skills that the company is looking for is going to be different. And then we talked about having the right information there. So for example, something that people miss out on easily is just not including their contact information. So we're going to make sure we always have our contact information. We don't need to have our address on there. We don't want to have any self-discriminatory things on there. I'm not going to put my picture on there. If someone wants to look me up, they can find my LinkedIn, of course. But as I mentioned, recruiters are lazy. We're not doing that. We're not always doing that. If you've applied to us, we're not always going to every single person's LinkedIn and look them up. Now, if we want to have a phone conversation, we've sent you a correspondence to, get on our calendar and we're talking already. We'll probably look at your LinkedIn before we talk, but we're already scheduled to talk, right? And this is very different from me as a recruiter reaching out to you proactively on LinkedIn. So I don't want you to say, oh, I don't have to be on LinkedIn because Jessica said we don't care about that and recruiters are lazy. No, still be on LinkedIn, because that way you have other people doing the job for you and proactively looking for your skill set. So they can reach out to you. I can say, hey, Paulindo, hey, Sheila, hey, Gwen, I have this great opportunity. I want you to work for this company. Go ahead and apply, or let's talk about it, and let's get moving on this. So these are the things: clean and concise, relevant experience, contact information, education, skills, and visual pop. These are the things that we're always thinking about when we're writing a resume and when we're reviewing our resume. And we also always, always, always want to spell check, grammar check, have someone else look at our resume, because we're human. There are things that we're going to miss. So don't just rely on spell check. My closing thoughts here: don't rely on spell check, because, and we probably know this if you've been in school and you've written a paper and you're like, how did that get in there? It always happens. The computer doesn't catch everything. So we always have to review ourselves and have someone else review for us. So that is all I got for this video. I'm going to take a quick peek at any last comments, any last questions before I get off of here. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining, and thank you all for the great concern and the nice messages about how I've been doing this week. I really appreciate it. It meant a lot. Glad you have power and heat. Yes, I do. Thank you. I am very happy that I have power and heat and food and water. It's been a week. I'm so glad everyone else I know, like friends out here on YouTube, have power and heat now. So it's good. And the temperatures are warming up here in Dallas, so that's great. All right, so just I can stay here listening to your topics for different hours. Oh, well, thank you, Paulindo. I definitely appreciate you as always. Zero, Jessica sent you a message when you get a chance. Okay, thanks, Zero. And my phone is about to die, so I may not look at that message right away when I get off of here. But give me a little time now. I'll get back to you. Like Jessica would be the nicest interviewer. I actually get comments at work that candidates do say, and some have even told me that they appreciate me because I'm pretty transparent, but I'm also nice about it. So I just want all my people to succeed. And so, yeah, I try to make it super easy during that interview process. Just, here's what I'm looking for. It's going to be okay. Like, I have some follow-up questions for you, but you're going to do great. I tell my candidates, like, they're going to do great. I'm sure this video will be beneficial to a lot of viewers. Good, I hope so. And thank you, Barry. Very thorough. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, we are also happy that you have power food. Yes. Oh my gosh, it's been, one of those weeks. But I was telling people this, like, it's just going to make us stronger. So you know what? Texas folks are going to, if this ever happens again, we're going to know what to do. And I was lucky because I'm from the Midwest, so I have seen snow and cold weather and ice and stuff, but it still doesn't make it easy when it's cold and inside. Thank you. Thank you for joining, Cassandra. I really appreciate you. I'm so happy that you got a lot out of the video. And if you have questions or you want me to cover a specific topic, just let me know. Gwen, you live in Dallas too. How are you? And is everything okay? You have everything? Okay, cool. Yes, thankful everything's getting better. Good, good. I care about everybody. Okay, well, I'm going to jump off. Thank you again, everybody, for hanging out with me today. And if you would like another version of this, I'm happy to do like a follow-up resume review. If you want specific, like a specific type of job or specific type of resume to look at, just let me know. I'm happy to pull some samples that we can walk through. Or if you ever just want a one-on-one consultation with me, you can always get directly scheduled on my calendar. Just jump on my Calendly link. And I believe I do have a link in this video in the About section for that. Or just feel free to send me a note and I can get you the information. And with that, I am going to close out this video. Again, appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. And with these tips, if you know someone that is looking for a job right now, make sure you share this with them, because the resume is where it all starts. So I definitely want to help people make the best chance to get the right job that they're looking for. So again, thank you all, lovely people, and I will see you in the next video. And I hope you all have a great Saturday. Bye, everybody.